Okay.
Why would ABC, Disney, the mouse, who has more money than God, settle with Donald Trump?
I honestly don't know.
You know, I've asked, why would ABC? But people ask me all the time, why is the media so mamsy-pamsy? And there are two explanations. One is they are convinced that if they would just move a little bit to the right, all those MAGA readers out there, now you'll notice the contradiction in terms, MAGA readers, would pick up the Washington Post and they would have more readers. What is the logical fallacy here? Yes, reader. And there is nothing that the Washington Post could possibly do that would have those people take out a subscription. But they're convinced they're in there someplace.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So we got to talk about Trump deranged activist George Conway, who is the ex-husband of Kellyanne Conway. Kellyanne Conway being a Trump supporter, a Fox News contributor. Her husband, ex-husband, extremely Trump deranged. And Jennifer Rubin, who is a liberal propagandist for the Washington Post. Okay, Miss Rubin and George Conway, they're going to have a Trump deranged coping session over the fact that Trump won. Despite their best efforts at spreading Trump deranged propaganda, the American people weren't falling for it, right? They voted for Trump. Trump became the president-elect, and now they are essentially admitting that their efforts failed. However, they're not giving up. They're saying that they're currently plotting against President-elect Trump before he could even get into office. AKA, they're not giving the president-elect a chance to prove himself, to prove that his policies are going to be beneficial to the country. No, they're not doing that. They're already plotting to undermine the former president because they can't stand the fact that they lost.
I don't, you know, I mean, we don't need to be beating the drum every day, because right now it's not necessarily doing any good. There are things that will be bad that will come soon enough. Don't you worry. And that's the time to really, really figure out something to do. And that being said, I know that there are a lot of people, a lot of groups that are doing a lot of planning and organizing and meeting as we speak. In fact, yes. I'm going to a confab, on which I'm not authorized to say, on Tuesday, and I'm on conference calls. People, you know, they understand what's going on. But they understand that the fight has to be different this time. We know a lot more now, and we know some things don't work and some things do work, and we know that he's going to be worse. And I think, you know, I mean, for example, the corruption is going to be so bad, there'll be plenty of time to say, see, we told you. Now, the problem is it's hard to tell people that they effed up, and they were conned. But there's going to be plenty more ammunition in the not too distant future. And it's probably okay to turn down the volume right now and have a nice holiday season. Okay? But remember here's the thing. For everyone out there, don't be civil, but do not think it is not civil and not polite to tell the truth.
Yes.
This man
is
a sexual abuser. He's a criminal convict. He is a narcissistic sociopath. He doesn't give a shit about anybody other than himself. You know, he tried to overturn the Constitution. All of these things are indisputably true. And if you're at a dinner table, I don't care if it's Thanksgiving, you just have to say that. If you're on a train and somebody strikes up a conversation with you and they tell you, well, I think Kamala Harris lost, la la la. Tell them what you think. Don't get angry. Just state facts.
Yeah, so I want you guys to understand. The Trump deranged activists are essentially admitting that 24/7 Trump derangement is not working, right? It did not work, clearly, because Trump won the presidency, and it's not working now, okay? We have talked about how there are polls showing that the American people overwhelmingly approve of Trump's transition.
There's no doubt that the president is going to enter office with a little bit of a honeymoon. Take a look here. Donald Trump has a 55% approval rating. That's not normally a support level we see for him as it relates to his handling of the transition right now. 45% disapprove. Compare this to 8 years ago when Donald Trump first won the presidency in November 16. At this point, he was at 46% approval of his handling of the transition.
Okay, and the media has been raging against Trump's transition and his cabinet picks for the last 2 months. Okay, ever since the election ended, the media has been raging against Trump and what he might do and what may happen and trying to foster this sense of voters' remorse. And it has been unsuccessful, right? Unsuccessful, okay? But yet the solution, according to George Conway and Jennifer Rubin, is to double and triple down on the derangement, right? That's the solution. One of the reasons why I am covering this conversation is because I think it is important to understand what the enemies are thinking, what they're plotting, so that we understand and we know what the strategy is going to be. The strategy is going to be to boohoo, whine, and cry about everything that Trump does. And if that is what they do during the next Trump administration, they're going to end up back in the same place that they're in right now, which is on the losing team. Okay, they're going to lose. Again, this is not going to work, right? It's not going to work because the American people have almost no trust in the media. So imagine if your strategy is to use the media that nobody trusts to constantly attack Trump the same way they've been doing for the last 8 years. I don't think that's going to work, okay? But these people, they are begging the media not to fold to Trump, aka to continue to run propaganda on behalf of the Democrats, to continue to be Trump deranged 24/7. In fact, these are the same people who raged at this conference about ABC News folding to Trump by settling this defamation lawsuit that Trump brought against George Stephanopoulos for falsely claiming that he raped E. Jean Carroll. Take a look.
And the judge said it 3 times, at least. So what happened is Stephanopoulos does screw this up. He screws it up by saying, the jury found rape, the jury found rape, the jury found rape when he's questioning Nancy Mace. And that's what Trump sued on. But the problem is there's a doctrine called substantial truth in libel law. And it basically means that if the true facts are pretty much as bad as what the person who's the defendant in the libel case says, then the plaintiff can't recover.
If we eliminate the legal reasons for settling, we have the great capitulation. And I must say, I think my ultimate boss overpaid, or underpaid, actually. He may have to pay more. He only gave him $1 million. Why won't Trump come back for the other 14? You know?
Well, he's not paying for it, but he hasn't sued you guys for libel yet.
Right.
Yeah.
But, why, you want to get to the head of the class. Why wait?
Yeah.
You could just anticipatorily, give the money, which is what they did. And you have people like
Would you love
Jeff
it? You
Bezos?
could say this about Bezos. And,
I know. And I'm not
She's
independently
fearless.
wealthy, so, when I get kicked out the door,
She's
you'll
just
all
completely
support me.
Fearless. In the tradition of Katie Graham, who basically told,
Yes,
who didn't give a damn that John Mitchell said what he said.
God bless her. God bless her.
Yeah.
These people are throwing themselves at his feet. They are prostrating themselves to get on his good side. I must say, I'm a little surprised. I thought he would be elected before they began this, but they're not losing any time.
You mean he'd be sworn in?
Yes, right. But he would actually be inaugurated. But they seem to be lining up very early in the game to get on his good side. And it's, to me, obviously, it's very disturbing. These people are the most wealthy, the most powerful people in America, and they feel compelled to capitulate to this.
I don't get it. I mean, if you gave me $1 billion, I would blow it all.
Yes.
Okay, pretty quickly.
Yes.
I would have blown it all probably in the 2020 election.
Yes.
But I wouldn't be afraid of anybody.
Yeah.
Because I'm not afraid of any. I mean, I'm not really afraid of any because nobody. It doesn't. He doesn't scare me. Once you sort of realize what a boob he is.
Yes.
It's hard to be afraid of him. And if he ever sued me for libel, because you can't sue me for saying that he's a boob because that's A, it's true, and B,
it's opinion.
And B, it's opinion. But, it's like, okay, fine, let's litigate. I'm a litigator. This
Yes,
is great.
exactly.
And I also, I'm not afraid. I'm going to go on TV and talk about, okay, what's the, it's like, it's, if he sued me for saying, like, I've been saying he's a narcissistic sociopath under the definitions of the DSM-5 for 5 years. Please sue me for that.
Yes.
Because then I get to prove it in court.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And you know how much money I could raise for that defense?
Yeah. So you guys seen that, you heard that. Okay, Trump derangement off the charts. I really do feel like these individuals should go and lay on somebody's couch to work out their current struggles that they're having with Trump derangement. Okay, because Trump derangement apparently causes cognitive impairment. That is what's happening here. Okay, these individuals are living their lives seething over the fact that Trump will be their president again. It must be a pretty sad way to live. Okay, I would not want to be one of these individuals. Okay, they don't seem to be very happy, because if I had $1 billion, trust and believe, I would not spend it on the 2020 election, presumably trying to prevent Trump from getting elected, which is what George Conway admitted during this conversation, which is that he would blow $1 billion if he had $1 billion to prevent Trump from being elected. Crazy stuff. I would personally, if I had $1 billion, I would just go and live on some island. Okay. You probably would not hear from me ever again. I would enjoy my life. Okay. And my $1 billion. That is probably what I would do if I had $1 billion. Actually, you know what? I take that back. I would spend a sizable chunk of it, maybe 100 million, maybe 250 million, something like that. Okay. Because I'm smart with my money, right? I know how to make my money multiply. So I'm not worried about going broke. Okay. I would actually use it to keep the country safe, right? I would use it to stop Democrats from being elected. Yeah, I would probably use it for those reasons. Okay. To be honest with you. But I wouldn't blow all of it. Anyways, with that being said, clearly these individuals are upset that the tides have turned. Okay. That you have the liberal news outlets like ABC capitulating to Trump, bending the knee, folding, in which you have ABC deciding to settle the defamation lawsuit that Trump rightly brought against them because George Stephanopoulos was very sloppy with his journalism, his coverage, his accusations against Trump when it comes to this E. Jean Carroll case, because he wanted to smear Trump before the election. The only thing the media cared about is trying to rig the election in favor of Kamala Harris, and they ended up paying for it. And that is what the anti-Trump activists can't stand the most. They can't stand the capitulation from the establishment to Trump. That's what they don't like, right? They love it when billionaires buy Kamala Harris, right? Notice how none of these people have an issue with money in politics when it comes to billionaires buying Kamala Harris, okay? And we've already seen the authoritarianism that happens as a result of Democrats being in bed with big tech and the billionaires, okay? We witnessed this for the last 4 years under Biden and Kamala Harris. The censorship from Facebook, from Twitter, from all of these big tech platforms that were in bed with Democrats, and these same people had no problems with it. They have no issues with it because they love authoritarianism when it benefits them. When it benefits the Democrat Party, they love billionaires having control, right? But when it doesn't benefit Democrats, all of a sudden now they're boohoo whine and cry about it. Oh, Jeff Bezos, he donated $1 million to Trump, right? He's capitulating. He's folding in advance, as if these people are supposed to live their lives fighting against Trump. Billionaires like Jeff Bezos realize that, hey, if I come out here and I continue to be Trump deranged, I'm essentially pushing back against the will of the American people. And we've already seen how these corporations respond when it comes to politics. They don't have any real ideology outside of making money, right? That's all they want to do. This is why after the 2020 election, all these corporations came out as woke, right? They were throwing money left and right behind diversity, DEI, Black Lives Matter, all these woke initiatives. They were throwing money behind them because they thought it was the profitable thing to do, okay? Because the American people had voted for Joe Biden, allegedly, even though I don't really believe it, but this is allegedly what happened. Now, fast forward 4 years, we've seen a destruction and chaos as a result of far left Democrat policies. Now the corporations are saying, well, the American people seem to be not woke, right? They seem to despise wokeness and identity politics we're going to turn the page. Okay, we're now going to not be Trump deranged, and the anti-Trumpers, they're losing their minds. They're losing their minds. They're raging. They're upset. But the truth is that this constant rage against Trump is part of the reason why he won. And that's what these people don't realize. That honestly, the best thing for the media, if they actually want to get back their credibility, is to not rage against Trump 24/7. The best thing is to actually have a real open mind when it comes to the Trump administration and the policies that they implement, right? Not to just be upset no matter what he does. If you actually take a step back and engage in journalism instead of propaganda, who knows? Maybe, just maybe, people would believe you. But these individuals are so Trump deranged, which means they are heavily cognitively impaired, that they don't even realize that, right? They have zero ability whatsoever to critically think. Now, again, on the flip side, all these other individuals, right, that they see fold into Trump, notice how they're corporate entities. These corporate entities, right, that actually do this type of stuff for a living in regards to thinking about, okay, what's best for the bottom line? They realize what's best for the bottom line is not to go against what the country voted for, right? They understand that, you know what, it's probably best to get on board with the agenda, or at the very least, let's not be antagonistic towards the agenda before the agenda is implemented. They realize that in order to continue to profit, to make money, to get what they want, then maybe, just maybe, they should not stand against the American people, okay? I'm just saying, if these so-called journalists and propagandists and Trump deranged activists, if they realize this, okay, then maybe, just maybe, they would actually be effective. But because they don't realize this, because they think that raging against Trump 24/7 is the only way to stop Trump, even though clearly that doesn't work at all, this is why they find themselves on the losing side of elections, and they will continue to find themselves on the losing side of elections if this is the way they approach their anti-Trump campaigning, right? If this is what they want to do, fine. Continue to Trump derangement 24/7. I personally just don't think it's going to work out well for these people. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.